Hello everyone, welcome back to Lucky15, and in this video I'll be giving you my Lucky 15 predictions for tomorrow's horse racing action. Before we get into those, I just want to apologise for not making a video for the last couple of days. Been busy for family reasons, and also as well on a Friday I was at Sandown with the Racing Post. It was a really good day, had a good time, but unfortunately I didn't get back until late and I didn't really get to spend a lot of time going through the form and things like that. So yeah, sorry about that, but hopefully I can give you a few winners this week. Also as well, I did do a preview for the Eclipse, tipped up Saxon Warrior. He came in second place in the end. I thought he ran a creditable race. Roaring Lion ran at home in the end to clinch the victory from Saxon Warrior, but I thought it wasn't a bad performance. But also as well, I thought it was a bit of a head scratcher for Saxon Warrior, because if you watch the race after he's crossed the winning line, they've been struggling to pull him up and he looks full of running again. So a lot of people were saying he doesn't get the mile and a half, including myself, but he was proven maybe some doubt was wrong that maybe he does. So it'd be interesting to see where he does pitch up again. I think he's been a little bit criticised too much in the press. That was because originally, obviously, everyone thought he was a good thing going into the Derby. I didn't think he was a good thing going into the Derby. I didn't think he would stay the trip, and kind of got proved right on the day. But he was slightly unlucky. But there's so many things you can say about this horse. But my personal opinion on it is he's a very good horse, but he was wrongly hyped up beforehand. And even though, yes, it's okay to say in hindsight, I think when a horse is that short for the Derby, I think it's a little bit harsh on the horse to just come on and criticise it. And Aidan O'Brien as well, even though he is a magician, maybe you always have to take a few things what he says with a bit of a pinch of salt. So yes, he's a wonderful trainer, Aidan O'Brien, but maybe just have your judgments on him maybe dampen down a little bit for the future. Anyway, enough of me waffling on. We'll just forget about what happened on Saturday, and we'll just get stuck into tomorrow's selections, what you'll want to know about. And we kick things off tomorrow in the 220 at Worcester with a horse called Newton Geronimo, trained by Ben Pauling, and Nico de Boinville is booked for the ride. These two often work well together. Also as well, this horse won over the course and distance last week, so it loves the place. It's 2 wins from 3 handicaps at the track, so that's definitely a positive. And I thought definitely it was a class horse in the race. It's still 9 years old, hasn't been raced too much for a 9-year-old, so there could be still a bit more improvement to come. And it's seeking a hat-trick of wins tomorrow. It's been running really well, and it beat a couple of these rivals it's going to be running against tomorrow, and I can't see any reason why they would overturn the form with our selection. And I thought Newton Geronimo was quite a good price to be getting stuck into now. I reckon he could maybe go off a little bit shorter, maybe something like 13 to 8, 6 to 4 on the day. So that's going to be the selection there. We then stay at Worcester for the jump-in the 355 with a horse here called Tommy Hallinan. It's trained by Paul Nicholls, and Sam Twiston-Davis is booked for the ride. 7-2, 4-1 is kind of the best odds out there at the moment. It's quite a bit of a interesting horse, really. It's in the same connections as the Paul Nicholls horse, Frodon, which is a good servant to him. And this horse had an interesting flat career over in Ireland. It wasn't a bad rated horse, rated in the high 70s. Also as well, won on good firm ground, so that's a massive tick in the box. They did try it earlier, or I should say towards the end of last year, over hurdles at Sandown in a very competitive race, but he definitely didn't like the ground that day. And he's still only 4 years old as well, so they've still really had time to improve with this horse. He ran a fair race on a seasonal reappearance, finishing 3rd at Stratford after running well for a long way, and I think he'll definitely kick on for that, and I could definitely see him being well back tomorrow. He could maybe go off something maybe 11-4, 5-2 when it comes to the final price. I think he'll be a lot shorter than he is now. So that's going to be the selection there. We then go to Windsor for a little bit of flat action with a horse here called Procure, 5-1 bookmakers at the moment in the colours of the Jubmont partnership. Trained by Amanda Perrett, Robert Haviland is booked for the ride. This horse ran a very eye-catching race on debut at Newbury, even though it did finish in 8th place out of 10 runners that day. If you go back and watch the race, there was hardly anything in it pretty much between the whole field, and it was against some useful rivals. It completely blew the start and then was running on really well. It looks a really keen horse as well. Nice, very good looking horse, and I think it's definitely going to learn for that run. It's 5-1 with bookmakers at the moment. It's nicely bred, and I think tomorrow. If it can get a good start, it should be there or thereabouts, and I thought 5-1 wasn't a bad price there. We then go over to Ireland for a bit of flat action in a listed race in the 820 at Roscommon with a horse called Family Tree, a listed race. It's trained by the mastermind that we've already spoken about, Aidan O'Brien. Shamey Heffernan booked for the ride. Been a bit of a strange horse, this one. It absolutely hacked up as a 2-year-old in really good style, and they definitely thought a lot of it. It had entries for all the big races. They entered it this year for its reappearance at Chester, and in the end it disappointed. But I think it was a bit of a quirky horse that day. It blew the start, it looked well, but it could never really throw down a serious challenge. But it finished in 7th place out of 10 runners. The form has been boosted. Hunting Horn went on to win at Royal Ascot. DXB finished second in that race, ran a cracker in the Derby. So there's a lot to like about that little piece of form. I think it'll come on for it. They're going to use the blinkers tomorrow. And this is kind of maybe the Aidan O'Brien horse that improves with time. And I thought 11-2, that wasn't a bad price there. So they're the tips for tomorrow's horse racing action. Let us know in the comments box below what you're going to be backing for tomorrow's racing. That's all I got to say. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel here at Lucky15 if you haven't done so already. You can also check me out on Twitter at Lucky15. Please gamble responsibly, and we'll be seeing you soon.